Hi, my name is Pat, and this is my channel, Book Chat with Pat, and I'm glad that you're here. Today is Saturday, March 30th, and this is my weekly wrap up. As we are also at the end of March, I'd also like to give a bit of a wrap up on my progress in the multitude of March events that I was trying to participate in. First, I'm thrilled to report that I finally finished my reread of Middlemarch, which I was reading with the Classics and Company Readalong. And I was also counting Middlemarch as my mammoth for March of the Mammoths. So that is complete. I adore this novel. George Eliot tells the stories of various individuals living in a small provincial town, and she masterfully weaves an epic tale around the ways that their lives intertwine. When I read this novel again, and I know that I will read this novel again, I am not going to read it when I'm committed to so many other things. This is a book that deserved my full attention, and I wasn't really able to give it the attention that I wanted to until this last week. It's just a book that deserves that kind of intense attention, and I was trying to read too many things at the same time. I've been doing a Poetry Thursday episode every week since I began my channel about a month and a half ago. For the month of March, I decided to focus all 4 of the Thursdays on a discussion of Irish poets. This past week, I presented a bit about the life of the Nobel Prize winner, William Butler Yeats, and I shared a few of his most famous poems. Although I was not following the specific prompts for the Irish Readathon, I feel as though I did participate with a lot of heart by reading one Irish novel. I read The Lockup by John Banville, which also counted for March Mystery Madness. I read one memoir, which I talked about last week, Are You Somebody? The Accidental Memoir of a Dublin Woman by Nuala O'Foilan. And I read the works of 4 Irish poets, Seamus Heaney, Padre O'Tuma, Louis MacNeice, and William Butler Yeats. I feel as though it was a successful Irish readathon for me, and I am going to continue to read the works of O'Foilan into April. I'm reading the second part of her memoir. There's a second book. I'm reading a novel that was published after her death, and I'm also reading a collection of her journalism. So I'll be talking about all of those in People April. I continued to make progress in the ongoing challenge to read 24 banned books in 2024. This week by reading and presenting a video on Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451. This was my 11th book in the challenge. Although this was also a reread for me, I was surprised at what I learned in investigating the novel, specifically to find information about its banning history. I was surprised to learn that not only has this novel about censorship and book banning been challenged and banned itself, but it was also censored and altered by Bradbury's own publishers without his knowledge, which I talked about in a video earlier this week. This week, I also completed Agatha Christie's What Mrs. McGillicuddy Saw, which is also known in Great Britain as 450 from Paddington. This was the 6th mystery that I read for March Mystery Madness. This was in response to the prompt to read a book by a British author. Several of my mysteries were British, but I read this one specifically for that prompt. I am finishing the month with 3 prompts left, but as I had books already picked out for those 3 for all the prompts, I still have the books, and I know that I will eventually get to them. I really, really enjoyed this Agatha Christie novel. It's one of her Jane Marple mysteries. In this novel, Mrs. Elspeth McGillicuddy is on her way to visit her dear friend, Miss Jane Marple, during the Christmas holiday. She's traveling by train. For a few brief moments, the train she is on pulls up next to another train on a parallel track. And when she looks out her window, she witnesses a man strangling a woman. Mrs. McGillicuddy is quite sure that she has witnessed a murder, but there is no body. There is no body on the train, on the tracks, or on the surrounding grounds around the tracks. Also, no one has reported anyone missing. Mrs. McGillicuddy continues on to her holiday visit with her friend, Miss Marple. She tells her when she arrives at her home that she believes she has just witnessed a murder. The 2 friends begin investigating by recreating the train ride and then speculating about whether it was possible that the body might have been thrown from the train and then picked up by somebody and taken away. This leads to the grounds of the Rutherford Hall, which is owned by the Crackenthorpe family. Miss Marple enlists the help of another acquaintance, the young and brilliant Lucy Islesbarrow. Lucy applies for a job as a housekeeper for the Crackenthorpe family in order to get onto the grounds and into the house to search for this body. Of course, the house is filled with potential suspects. Reading this book has made me want to read all of the Miss Marple books. Finally, this week I read Beyond That the Sea by Laura Spence-Ash. And this is a book that I was reading for my in-person real-life book group. This is a novel set in London and New England, primarily during World War II and in the years immediately following the war. It centers around 2 families, one in England and one in the United States. Beatrix, an 11-year-old British girl, is sent by her parents to live with the Gregorys in the United States in order to keep her safe during the bombing of London. We follow all of the members of both families through many years. We're discussing this novel on Tuesday of this coming week, so I'm going to wait until after my group meets to talk about the book for me to give my impressions of it here. So that will be forthcoming as well. Next week, I will share my plans for April, which I'm hoping will be a little bit more tightly focused than my March reading was. Yeah, famous last words. We'll see. Um, anyway, if you are celebrating Easter this weekend, I want to wish you a very happy Easter. As always, I thank you for watching. I hope that you're doing well. I'll speak with you again soon. Take care.